Hello everyone and welcome back to a Sims 3 speed build. Today we are working again in the custom world Stone Ridge Valley. This is going to be one of the houses or buildings that is going to be in the downtown area. So a lot of the residential areas in this downtown area is going to appear to be like a multi-family home. There will be areas in the lot that's going to have a possibility of more than one apartment. So that's kind of what this one's going to look like. It will have a few main doors that could be used as the front door. I believe I have, if I remember correctly, two doors that will be on the ground floor. There's going to be, I believe, two doors for the second floor. That's going to be pretty much it for this. There's going to be four actual front doors, but only two of them are going to be part of the actual, I guess you could say, apartment. I do feel that if you wanted to, you could actually turn this into a real apartment in The Sims 3. I don't know a lot about the apartments in the game. I think I've built one once before, but that was years ago. I know they have to have a separate separate area by the front door that can be categorized as one apartment and then another. You can't just assign to certain rooms or certain areas in the house as one apartment like you can in The Sims 4. I'm sure with just a few little adjustments here and there on the lot, if you wanted to turn this into an actual working apartment, you could. You just have to go into the build mode. You'll probably have to put in some cheats to get rid of them, because I did put in some of those room blockers, or I'm not exactly sure exactly what they're called, but they're the little round ball looking things that help designate certain rooms as different things. And I did put in one that will completely black out the bottom floor. I did that because by doing that, it allows the price of the house to be a little bit less. That way, this place wasn't super expensive, because it's not meant to be a wealthy family that lives here. The pre-made family that I put in here is not considered very wealthy. They're a little bit on the poor side. They do have a couple of pets. As you see, I do have in the back where they could have horses. But I didn't want this to be one of the wealthy homes. So I ended up putting one of those room blocker ball things in the bottom. Unfortunately, once you put one of those in, it is going to make it where it's going to give you the error where you can't change anything outside of the unit. So in order for you to change anything outside, as in put in, like, make it where you can use it as an actual usable apartment, you're going to have to remove that floor marker thing out of the bottom floor. So you're going to have to put in some cheats, get that removed, and then you can make any adjustments on the outside that is needed if you would like to turn this into an actual working apartment. So just kind of remember that if you were to do that and you try to make any changes on the exterior, it is going to yell at you. It's going to tell you that you can't. Just remember, you just got to get rid of that. It's on the bottom floor that I have it, and like I said, I use that to lower the price. So well, anyway, here we are just kind of trying to figure out the outdoor exterior like design of it. I'm trying to keep this as much looking the same as the rest of the downtown area as I can. So I'm trying to use a lot of the brick, and I'm also trying to use a lot of this wallpaper that's got the slats that are going vertically, and just to try to help make it all blend in together. So every now and then I do kind of like turn my camera, because what I'm doing is I'm kind of looking at the previous buildings that are in the world, just to try to get as much of it to look pretty close to the same style as I can. Because I have this tendency that when I'm building, that I just start building and I design it and I color it and use the windows and everything to look good with what I'm doing in front of me, and I don't always remember to include anything to make it look like the rest of the world. So I'm doing what I can to try to keep the theme going and not get off track. I think for the most part the exterior of this house does look pretty nice. I like the way it looks. I think it blends in with the downtown area pretty well with all the other buildings that are in nearby. So just trying to get, some of the windows in, and I got some of the doors, just kind of placing stuff around, seeing what I think of the way they look. And of course I do use some of them with the closed shutters just because I like the change, having it look a little bit different here and there. I don't want all the windows to always look like they're open all the time, so that's kind of nice. Now the families that are going to be pre-made and live in this town, I haven't really said a whole lot about them or given too much background on the families because I kind of want their lives and maybe some of their past and things like that to kind of be something that maybe you'll find as you're playing it, that you'll discover about them. I don't want to tell you everything about them because I feel like that would ruin, I don't know if really so much of a surprise, but kind of just ruin the discovery of their lives and everything that's going on with them. So but I can tell you that a pre-made family will be in this one. I'm not going to tell you how many Sims are in it or their ages or genders or anything like that, but just know that this will have another pre-made family. Again, you can always, like I said, turn it into an actual apartment and you can get more Sims living here. The only thing that I'm not sure how it's going to work is with having townies move in. And of course the game generating new Sims as they age. We're going to have probably the issue of modern clothing showing up in the world. I am not exactly sure how I'm going to go about that. I have messed a little bit around with creating like mods that will, I guess you could say, take out certain types of clothing. I am kind of considering about going in and doing that again. That way, when this world is brought up, hopefully only the historic type of clothing and hairstyles and stuff like that will be generated for the game. That way everybody can for the most part look the same, as in the same styles. But at this time I haven't fully decided if I'm going to do that yet or not, so just have to wait and see. So something that I have been doing that has kind of delayed a little bit of my building in this world is I've been kind of going through and looking for some custom content to download. Now I don't really download any furniture or building type of items. Pretty much about the only custom content I will do is hairstyles, makeup, clothing, stuff like that for the Sims. So I thought I would go ahead and do something like that because the actual game itself doesn't have a lot of like historic type of styles, clothing, and things like that. So I'm trying to find ones that I can download as CC. That way you don't have to spend, any money on the store, because you can go to the Sims 3 store and they actually have quite a few historic like packs that you can get or sets that have historic clothing. But I don't want you to have to go and do that when there's, custom content out there that you could get. So I have found some. If you're interested in any of those custom content items to help get your Sims in the clothing and anything like that, I'm still working on it. I haven't found a whole lot, but I do have some out there on my website. Just go on the first page to the where I have the download for this world. I'm keeping all of that type of custom content with this world. So once you click on the first link on the home page that takes you to the custom world, just go ahead and click on the historic clothing. I don't know if it's titled as historic CC or exactly how I have it titled. Just go ahead and go in there and you'll find more links to different categories that you can go. I have so far found quite a bit of clothing for the adult female Sims. I found a little bit for the male adult Sims. There's some for the child age. I found a little bit for toddlers. And I did find cute little bonnets that you could put on even the babies that I thought that were super cute, those bonnets. So go ahead and check those things out if you would like to add a little bit more to your game. And without having to spend money at the store. Now I can say that once I start adding packs and stuff back into my game and I start working on the actual save file itself, I do intend on putting some store content in there. So just kind of keep that in mind, because there's some of the lots that I have planned that I want to use some of the store content, like for example the museum that I want to put in. I want it to look like a castle, so I plan on having the store content items for the castles. And then there was like this old tea mill or whatever it was from the store. I plan on using some objects from that, as in the old mill. I do have a lot already planned on where I'm going to put it that will have that. So there will be some store content, unfortunately. And I do have some of the historic clothing from the store. But again, that's just going to be on the save file itself. That isn't going to be the actual world download. The world download will be just as I've always said on the packs that will be required. There's only a few of them. So just make sure that you have those and everything that you see so far up to this video. And actually there's still going to be a couple more videos yet of lots that will be only those packs. So as long as you have those, everything that you see, this world will work just fine. I'm just trying to give more options to you. That way, if you would like to try to add a little bit more to your world, you can, along with, you know, just to help make it fall in with the theme. And, you know, doing what we can to try to keep it the same, because you can't really, from what my research has made it, you can't really make these worlds quite as specific on their design. Like in Dragon Valley, for example, they're all dressed pretty much the same there. Or like, oh, I'm not sure which town it is, but it's the one that kind of takes place, I think, I want to say in the style of like the 50s and 60s or something. I think it's the world that you can get extra, the roller coasters and the park or whatever that comes with it. Well, anyway, you can't do that with your custom worlds. You can't specifically say, I only want this theme of clothing or this theme of hairstyles or anything like that. So just doing what I can to try to get it as close to my idea as I can. I do have a few mods on my Patreon page that I have linked. They're not my mods. I don't have any, I don't take any credit for any of them. They are other modders' mods, so just ask any questions on their pages. But I do have them linked for you to help you find them, to try to get rid of the cars and other modern stuff like that, to try to keep it where your Sims are walking instead of driving in cars or having taxis or buses. Hopefully it stops everything, and then of course hopefully your Sims will just do a bunch of walking. So I do have some of that on my Patreon page if you're interested. And like I said, I do plan on possibly doing something with clothing, but again, that'll be in a style of a mod that you will have to download in order for it to work. I don't plan on having any of these mods actually included in with the world package, so all of that will have to be downloaded separately. So as you can see, now we are now working in the kitchen area. I'm still trying to make the lot a little bit on the rundown side, but at the same time I want it to look a little bit more, I guess you could say, up to date than out in the country, because we are in the town, easier access to supplies and stuff like that. So these lots are going to have a little bit more, and I do have an area of the downtown that I want to build that will be more of I guess you could say a wealthy area. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to have one of those lots created for the actual download yet. I think I will, but I'm not sure yet. I haven't gotten to it. I just know what I want to do with that spot of the downtown. So we'll just have to wait and see what I end up doing with it and whether or not it's going to be included with the actual download or not. But I do have an area that I want it to be a little bit more wealthy, and I think they'll have nicer stuff, maybe even nicer candles and stuff like that to help light up the place. And then I do have one area in the countryside area that I want them to be a little bit more wealthy as well. And I want them to have like larger, I'm thinking about like a bigger barn, more horses, stuff like that. I haven't fully decided again. That might be a lot that I might wait and do for the save file. That way I can bring in like the chickens and stuff like that and the cows, but that's all store content. So I haven't fully decided. Leave your comments down below, your thoughts and opinions when it comes to the extra stuff for the save file and what your thoughts are on that, because I'm still undecided on a lot of it. I haven't started working on any of it yet, so I'm still really unsure what I'm going to do with the save file at this point. So I'm just trying to go through and trying to find anything that I can in the packs that I currently have installed that I feel will look okay with this theme. I would have to say it's quite difficult when you only have a couple of packs. There's not a lot of stuff to choose from, that is definitely for sure. So there's a lot of repeated items, and you know how I don't like repeating items all the time, but when you're very limited on what you get to use, that's kind of what ends up happening. Stuff just kind of gets repeated. I think off camera end up changing the texture of the couch and the chair. The textures I had chosen for it just felt, I guess you could say, too up to date for the theme that I was kind of going for this lot. So I do go in and kind of make them look a little bit more dingy. I guess that's kind of about the best I really could do, is just kind of make them look a little bit more dingy. Now just kind of working on the bathroom area. This house or this lot will have the toilet inside. I've decided for the most part the houses or any of the lots in the downtown area are not going to have outhouses. They will have their toilets inside the building. All the toilets that I will be using will be coming from, I believe, the Dragon Valley pack. So I think that's where that toilet came from. I think they have some in the way of the showers and tubs as well, but honestly, I didn't really like the way those looked. I felt like an old style clawfoot tub was kind of more in the right theme, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really care a whole lot for those types of objects from Dragon Valley, so you'll see that I'm not really using any of those. But I am still trying to get it to look as old as I can. Bringing in, here's the bedroom. And I decided to try doing like one of those beds that have all the draperies and stuff over it. Now the lighting does kind of glitch the curtain out a little bit, but I think for the most part it works. I do have to use this builder's tool mod in order to get the curtains in the right place. Unfortunately, the one thing that's going to happen whenever you take objects and you lower them down, like what I am doing here with the curtains, they do kind of glitch out a little bit if you go to the floor below. But I felt with this lot it wasn't really a big deal because, like I said, I put those room marker ball things down there, so it's not like that's an actual lot for your Sims to go to and do anything in. If they are a problem, you can easily just delete them and get rid of them. Just click on the curtain and get rid of them. So yeah, but I just thought it kind of looked kind of nice. It kind of gave more of a drapery type of effect, I thought, to the bed. It's something that I always wished that the game had, because I personally really like the beds that have the curtains and the draperies and stuff all over them. It just gives them a nice, like, old style view or an old style look. So right here you'll see that I'm putting in, there's what that ball I was telling you about. You'll have to make sure you get rid of that before you can make any changes to the exterior. That is what is going to basically, that's pretty much what is removing a lot of the cost to the Sims for the ones that are living in the actual apartment above. So that's what you'll have to manipulate and change and get rid of if you want to turn this into an actual apartment, because I do not have it set to actually be recognized as one. So you'll just have to make sure you get rid of that if you expect to do it. So just going around and doing some lighting, because you know how I feel about the Sims not being able to see my Sims when they're outside. I absolutely hate that. It was probably the one thing that I hated the most. The first time, I remember when I was first playing this game, it was playing in the late night, was at Bridgeport, I think is the town. And I had my Sims go downtown. It was nighttime and they're out there socializing. I knew they were talking to somebody, But honestly, I couldn't see them at all. It was so dark I couldn't see them, and that drove me nuts. And I was new to the game, so I didn't know how to fix it, and it drove me nuts every time my Sims went downtown or went anywhere and it was dark and I couldn't see them. So ever since then, I have always made sure that all my lots have lighting outdoors for you to be able to see your Sims and see what they're doing. So that's pretty much the build. There's not a whole lot anything different that I did off camera. I did do a little bit of testing. The horse, again, when I had her tied up to one of the stalls there, she broke the lead again and the rope and was pretty much doing her own thing. I'm going to have to keep looking to see if there's a mod or something that will stop that, because I really don't like the idea of it. But anyway, here are the screenshots. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're liking this series, and let me know what you think of this world that I'm building, along with the lots that are going to be in it as well. So like I said, any comments, suggestions, go ahead and leave them down below, and I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.